Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Life Conversations with a Twist. I have the honor of having Audra on my podcast today. Just like many of my guests, we just met, and I'm really excited and inspired by your story. And so I cannot wait to hear more. So, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
And
Yeah.
Miss Audra is also in California. And so we were just connecting on all the fun things that are going around in California right now. So we definitely can relate to each other's story and all
Yeah.
the craziness that's happening. But tell us a little bit more. So I know you're in LA, but tell us a little bit more about who you are. A little, what is day-to-day stuff look like for you?
Yeah, I'm originally from Detroit, but as far as day to day, I am a certified life coach and an author. And day to day, I can be speaking with clients, hopefully getting as much sun as possible, and yeah, doing the best that I can to create experiences for those who attend the live events that we have for my coaching business, because I truly believe that it's really important to kind of mix a little bit of, what did they say? It's kind of like mix a little bit of the sugar in with the medicine. It makes it go down a little bit easier. So I like to curate experiences for those who attend my events. So that's what's happening. I'm planning those things.
What do your events look like? I mean, I'm in the event industry, but I also do women's retreats.
Yeah.
So definitely my world, and
Ooh.
I would love to hear more about your events.
Yeah, so a part of what I do is my background has been in performing arts. So it's about the conversations that I have are surrounding wellness and personal empowerment and healing. And, I share my story and I help people to understand their stories.
Mhm.
And so I like to do that in different ways and to get them to a space where they're not necessarily feeling shame when it comes to expressing themselves and what they've experienced. And so it's what I've learned in my experience is that everybody has scars, some on the outside, some on the inside. And so that can be done through music, that can be done through comedy, that can be done through crafting, lots of different ways that you can do that and explore without it just being, let's have a deep conversation and that's it. So
Mhm.
that's what I like to help people with. Is just mixing in a little, integrating them into this process in a different way.
I love it. I love all of that. Everything you're doing, I love. It's
Oh, thank
definitely the
you.
world that I am inspired to be in. So I'm excited for this conversation. So tell everyone what is your story? What is your journey? What is your twist in your life?
So I was burned at 18 months old, and that's why I wore this specifically so you can see it all. So I was burned at 18 months old, and I didn't look at myself in the mirror until I was 25 because I didn't want to see my scars. So essentially, that I spent a life, my whole formative years into young adulthood hiding. So wearing t-shirts, turtlenecks, going swimming. Okay, as long as I have my t-shirt, I'm fine. And so I spent my life hiding. And at 25, I really had a revelation. I really felt like, because I always felt like I want to help people. I want to encourage people. I just felt like I wanted to do that. But I couldn't do that. And I say that because in that moment, I remember specifically at 25, I felt like I'd say, Audra, everybody has scars, some on the outside, some on the inside. And that was the very thing that was like, and it was an epiphany for me. It was just like, what? Because I just felt so alone. I grew up feeling alone.
Mhm.
And when you feel alone, you feel isolated, you're like, woe is me, nothing's ever going to get better. And so when I then started to say, yeah, let me go help and encourage other people, God was like, okay, Audra, how are you going to do that? And you won't even look at yourself in the mirror.
Mhm.
And I couldn't argue with that.
Mhm.
So that started my process of looking in the mirror for the first time. And it was a 6 month process getting used to seeing the part of myself that I didn't want to see, the part of myself that made me feel ugly and unloving and not lovable and all of that. So I had to get used to it. I had to embrace it, those types of things. And as then I had to show the world. I had to let other people see me as well.
Mhm.
And so over time, it got easier.
Mhm.
And what I will say, and I'll leave it here, is that the more I started to embrace my own scars, the less questions I would hear from other people about them. And even to this day, it's so strange. People are like, what is that? Is that a leaf? They think I did it intentionally.
Mhm.
And so I find that so interesting is that how the thing that you hated the most about yourself could then other people could even find beautiful somehow. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, such a great story. How did you get burned at 18 months?
Yeah, so I was being a toddler and my father uh he was drinking some coffee. We had some relatives over to the house and I went up to the table and pulled a cup of coffee onto myself. And I will tell you that he never really forgave himself, I don't think, because
Hmm.
it happened under his watch.
Yeah.
So, I never blame my dad. I'm very much a daddy's girl. I'm very much a daddy's girl.
Hmm.
So, it's one of those things where I was just like, oh, I didn't know he still felt that way.
Hmm.
But not until I was doing some research, because my dad passed away 10 years ago.
Hmm.
So, not until I did some research from other family members that I realized just how much that impacted him, and he was still dealing with that even in and when I was a teenager. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, are you a parent?
No, I'm not.
You're not a parent.
Not yet.
I understand the guilt, like even like they
Yeah.
fall or, there's so many things that can happen and there's definitely a lot of guilt when that stuff kind of happens. And then
Yeah.
probably I would imagine for him seeing you go through the hard times of that would be really, really hard. Like I get choked up because I could probably understand where he's coming from, It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I like to say, Dad, thank you so much in a sense because little did I know that this was the platform that I would be standing
Mhm.
on.
Yep.
So I hope that he sees, it's almost like I wish you could see what's being done even with this experience. Not that that's going to make you feel, not that that would have made him feel better, but good stuff is coming from it.
Absolutely. So you grew up basically like hiding yourself, like you didn't go swimming with the rest of the kids, or, you didn't get to wear cute dresses. Is that like how it was for you most of your life?
Yeah, it was t-shirts and turtlenecks,
Mm-hmm.
literally. I remember there's a photo that I have when I was maybe 9 or 10, maybe younger. Um, Everybody else had on like a tank top outside. It was summertime. And I had this long sleeve, just black, covered, like totally covered. That's just how I live my life. Like looking for clothes, even though I wanted to have the cute clothes. Like I wanted to have the cute clothes. I wanted to be cute and feminine and all, go shopping. But it's like I made myself not really be into that because how often am I gonna find something that's cute with like cap sleeves to cover my shoulder that's up to here? Is it really gonna be that cute? I don't know. So it was a lot of that going on, and I would go swimming, but again, I just wouldn't go swimming without a t-shirt, so I could totally cover myself. So it was just a lifestyle of hiding and avoiding mirrors, and that's just what it was. I literally did not see any way of being outside of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a wild, like, I just couldn't imagine growing up that way with so much fear. Do you think that now, if you were to be Audra now in the day in life here now, do you think that you would be more accepted? And I say this because I think that now with like social media and like the transgender and like everybody kind of like finding who they truly are and people being more accepting for people's scars or people's, who they are, do you think that it would be a different perspective now than back then?
Honestly, I would love to say I think it would be different, but it wasn't about anyone else. It was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It it wasn't because, I got questions. I was in ballet class and had them see my scars and say, "What's that? What's going on?" But again, the self-acceptance wasn't there. So it really, the more I the more I accepted myself, the more other people accepted me.
Hmm.
So it really had nothing to do with other people at all.
Hmm.
I wish that, maybe that would have made it easier somehow. Like, oh, okay, if everybody else is accepting, but no, everything had to do with how I felt about myself.
Hmm.
And the more I started to be okay with it, the less questions I heard. Like when I say I will wear something where it is all out, I'll wear a halter, something like tube top. I don't get the questions. Before I could wear a t-shirt and just this little portion is sticking out. What's that? What happened to you?
Interesting. Huh. What advice do you have to that girl that's in high school or in their teenage years that battles maybe a scar or a discoloration of the skin or some kind of physical um, thing about their body? What advice do you have going through what you went through now would you give her?
You gotta own it. I Waiting on the world to change, you will be waiting for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
The more you love you and give yourself grace, give yourself love, appreciate who you are without full, like, of course, it's easier to love you when other people are loving you.
Hmm.
But that can be a trap too,
Hmm.
because now you only feel loved when they're affirming you,
Hmm.
right? But what if you were just like, this looks different on me. This is the size that I am. This is the whatever is going on. If it's something, as long as you're healthy and you're well, hey, I love who I am and give love to other people. That's another thing too. I'm not talking about go to the other side and be completely arrogant and be a mean person. That's not what I'm saying either.
Hmm.
I'm saying genuinely love yourself and appreciate you. Like, who are you? Who's God created you to be? What talents are you using? How kind are you toward other people? Be kind. Because when people see good-hearted people, they are going to stand up for you.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, there's power in being the one that loves herself, but also loves other people. And she's just so cool. She doesn't have to be perfect.
Hmm.
She doesn't. Like people actually are like, "Oh my gosh, I love that you did that thing that is different." Or I love that you're not perfect. I love that you have that scar. I love that you have this. I love that you own that. They're gonna admire you.
Hmm.
You know how many people are fighting to love themselves?
Yeah.
You are not alone. I thought I was consumed with my scar. I am not enough. I can't show it. But do you know what people are going through behind closed doors?
Yeah.
If not the same stuff that you're experiencing, it could be worse.
Hmm.
And you may not be able to see it. They may not have the physical scars, but it could be something where it's ripping them apart inside. And you loving yourself gives them permission to love themselves, and they
Hmm.
will love you for that.
So good. I love that you say that we all have scars.
Yeah.
either internal or external, because it is so true. And we all have experienced things. We've all experienced trauma or different perspectives of the world. And to honor that, I think that was what really hit home with your speech
Yeah.
for me, is that.
Hmm.
So, was there like a moment? Was there a conversation? Was there like, what was that pivotal moment for you where you're like, this
Yeah.
isn't who I want to be anymore? This is not how I want to love my body.
Yeah, it was that moment at 25.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, again, it was an epiphany. It was, I feel like it was the Holy Spirit to just say, hey, Audra,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has scars.
Yeah.
Some on the outside, some on the inside. That changed the game for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't just, okay, here's the revelation. It was, okay, now here's the work to do as well. Because you have to start looking at yourself in the mirror. How can you go out there and encourage other people to love themselves and you don't even look at yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So there was the revelation and then there was the work. And I had to get good with me first. I wasn't going out and saying, hey, do this, that, or the third. No, no. I had to figure it out first.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so very grateful. And here's what I will say. What I found so very interesting is that so many people did not, like, I went to an event. I went to, actually, it was a pool party, and I'm supposed to wear this, swimsuit and all the things. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna not take a t-shirt with me. That was what I said to myself. I don't want to wear a t-shirt. What wound up happening is I went, I thought everybody was going to ask me all the questions. So I had, I was out there for everyone to see. Look at my scars. In my head, I was terrified. So I go to where the people are on the basketball court and I'm standing. They're going to see my scars. They're going to think I look weird and ask me questions. No one said anything. I went to where they were eating. They're going to see my scars. They're going to ask me questions. Nobody said anything. Went to the pool. They're gonna see it. Nobody said anything. Years later, the person who was at the barbecue wrote the foreword for my book, and she said, "I had no idea you were struggling. You look confident to me."
Mm-hmm.
What I feel like people don't know is that we are in our head about the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always what people see or how people perceive us. It's really our perception of ourselves that get us in trouble. They thought I was confident. I was not feeling confident at all. And so that's that's a part of it, you know. It's not always as harsh as you think it is.
Mm-hmm. Were you, before this moment of transition for you, were you already doing life coach work, or was it after that that this became part of your world more?
It was after.
Mm-hmm.
I never connected with a burn survivor organization. I'd never been around other burn survivors. That's one thing. Growing up, I dealt with it on my own. Not saying that I didn't have the support from my parents. They did the best they could, but I don't think they fully understood that I should be around other burn survivors as much as just trying to encourage me to, feel good about myself and, it's okay, it's not a big deal. Or in the most loving way possible to say, it's okay, I don't want you to feel insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it wasn't until I got to a space where I was able to share my story with other people, then I started getting involved and started coaching. I didn't know I had a story to share.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I had that. So that I always wanted to encourage people. I always kind of did it. Like I would be the one, even in grade school, like fourth grade, I'd have friends that felt comfortable sharing their experiences with me. So I've always kind of been that person, but not until I got to a space where I was able to share a part of me, the vulnerable aspects of my story,
Hmm.
did did it even seem like it's something that I should do.
Hmm. Interesting. What do you have a typical like person that you life coach? Do you life coach for anybody? Like who are your people?
Yeah, so as much as I would love to say, sure, anybody come on over here. I feel like I could. Like I would love to. I have the heart to.
Yeah.
What I will say that typically the people that I work with, they are the ones that kind of carry the burden of the family. They're the one that everybody turns to, but who do they lean on?
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that they're the ones that everybody gets the advice from.
Yeah.
But when they're going through it, it's like, well, hope it works out for you.
Yeah.
And it's not even that the person's trying to be mean. They may not even know how. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like they got used to figuring things out on their own. And sometimes they may not ever even reach out to anyone to get help
Hmm.
because in the past, maybe people didn't help.
Hmm.
So they had to figure it out. So those are typically the people that I work with. So they are CEOs, they are uh, business owners, they are moms, they are just high achievers. Yeah.
Yep. I know what you mean by that.
Okay.
Yes, I
Yes.
do.
I'm like, come on over here. You have needs. Let's talk about those.
Totally.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And we have bad days too, It's like everyone expects they're like, your life's so great and inspiring. And I'm like, oh, well, there's some days where I don't want to leave my bed too. And and you take the burden and you hold so much space, like especially with my women's retreats, like we hold space for these women to tell their stories and then we're holding it for them. And then you go home and you feel like you just got ran over by a train, because you're just so consumed and you want to take on that sometimes we forget that we need to take care of ourselves too.
And that's my desire is to remind you of that.
Hmm.
Like you're human. And there can be a God complex a bit there
Yeah.
sometimes because you really have a heart. This is the people that have a good heart. They really want to help, but it's heavy.
Yeah.
So, we're going to talk about how to do that in a way that is sustainable, that feels good for you, that is not making you everything for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's what we talk about.
I love that.
Yeah.
So with your life coaching now, do you speak? I mean, I know you did a TED Talk, but do you do more do you go on stages and tell your story more?
Yeah, so I'm building that up. That's a part of the TED Talk is something that I was just like I've always wanted to do, and I was like, oh, well, here it is. All right. So from there, I'm like, okay, let me figure out this part of myself because initially just sharing my story was something I just did. I posted on Facebook one time and I was like, whoa, I've never gotten this many responses on Facebook ever.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, maybe this is something I need to do something with it. So it's been a gradual process, but that is something that I'm looking to do is to do more speaking. And because I enjoy it. I enjoy getting in front of people and reminding them of how incredible they are and that their life wasn't easy, even if they make it look easy, and how they can bring more ease into their lives. So I enjoy that. I like to say that I feel like the thing I love to do is just encourage people.
Mhm.
I feel like it brings me joy.
You definitely have found your zone of genius for sure. Like I listened to your TED Talk last night and I was like, wow. And it was very short. It was like less than eight
Mhm.
minutes. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was so inspired and you do such a great job and it was beautiful. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, you definitely found your thing, and I think that we need more of you in this world, especially right now. That's like lifting people up and encouraging everybody. And so, I'm thankful for the work that you're doing.
Thank
We
you.
need
I
more of you.
appreciate you.
How
Thank
do
you.
you get on TED Talk? Like, I think that's like
Yeah.
a thing. Like, I've always been curious because everyone's like, "Oh, I was on a TED Talk," or I know they come to Sonoma County and they come like, how do you get on it? And like, what does that process even look like?
So I can only share my process and what it was for me, and it's it's kind of a very simple experience for me. And so I'm not saying that this is the case for other people at all, but it really was like I wanted to do a TED Talk, and I said, okay. I started writing, and let me see, it was probably around November, October, November of 2023, and I said, okay, I really do. And so I started to write it out. Just what could I potentially talk about? And then I would just talk to my couches, my couch pillows. I really did. It was probably if someone saw, they were like, "What are you doing?" I just did that. And the next month, November 2023, I received an email from like this group that I'm a part of, and they said, "Yeah, they're looking for TEDx speakers." I said, "Huh." So I filled out the application. There was a video, a short video I needed to do, and I did that and got a call back. I said, "Oh, okay." And then I had an interview, and then I was selected.
That's so
Now here's what I will say. The only thing I could think is that whatever it is that you have to offer to share with the world, it really it should really be sincere.
cool.
It's really about what idea, what concept can I share with others that has meaning to me
Hmm.
in a deep way. It's not just about let me find a stage to talk on. I
Hmm.
think that's maybe the difference. It's like, how can I potentially change the world in a wonderful way,
Hmm.
positively impact the world through this talk? And if that's the case, I think you just bring that idea. And if it's something that resonates with the TEDx organizers, then there you go.
That's so cool. That's so true. I was just always curious because
Mhm.
they have them, and I'm like, people are like, oh, I go to them, and I don't know. Maybe I need to go like sit in the audience and actually experience it because I'm always just
Yeah.
so intrigued by it. Yeah.
I think you should. I think that is a very empowering experience because I've seen others and I'm just like, oh my God, you guys are like amazing. Like everybody in my cohort, I'm like, you're amazing. Do you
Mhm.
know that? So, and we're just rooting for each other. So, yeah, do that.
I love that. You wrote a book.
Yes.
What is it about? How can we get it? I want to know all the things.
Yes. So it is called I've Got Scars, Baby. How to Embrace Your Scars, Empower Your Purpose. So first of all, again, back to I didn't know I had a story to tell.
Hmm.
But when I started to tell it, I was like, whoa, okay. I wanted to create something that wasn't just sharing my story, but it was something that could actually help the reader reflect on their own story. Because I think the more you are understanding of yourself and what created the aspects of you that you like and may not even like so much. You like and don't like. There are some wonderful things about ourselves that we're like, yay, I'm so glad that challenging experience made me like this. But then you're also like, that challenging experience also made me like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So I wanted them to understand their story. So I wrote it. It's like a self-help memoir. So I wrote my experience what I, I gave you a teeny bit in this conversation, but I mean, from in the hospital getting surgeries at 2 and 3 years old to, what's happening now. But at the end of every chapter are questions for you to reflect on your own experience. And so when you have that kind of experience, it's just like, okay, cool. Now I'm understanding myself a little bit more.
Hmm.
Now I'm getting it. Now, okay, I have something to work with. And so from there, uh, it, I talk again about my dad and, how that relationship worked. And so it's really designed to help the person understand themselves and see a different perspective when it comes to their life experiences. And it is on Amazon. You can go to my website, audrabryant.com, but I've got Scars Baby. Uh, it's really something where if you want to take it, you're not alone. That's another thing too.
Mm.
I wanted to share so much because I wanted people to understand you are not alone in this experience. I want you to see I'm sharing, I'm giving you all I have. I'm sharing everything that I've experienced just because I want you to understand that you're not by yourself.
Hmm.
Because that is the very thing that can keep us stagnant. It can keep us hiding. And it's not about shame. It is about honesty. It is about acknowledging your pain. It
Hmm.
is about acknowledging the things that happen that should, should not have happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to think about that. They
Hmm.
just want to move forward. But you have to acknowledge, then you have to embrace, and then you can become empowered.
Hmm.
But we can't skip over the acknowledge, and we can't skip over embracing ourselves
Hmm.
because you deserve that. You deserve to be loved and to love yourself, flaws and all.
Hmm.
And you can move powerfully from that.
I love that. That was very well, beautifully written. I'll have to buy your book. I literally, I'm like so behind on book reading because everybody who's been on my podcast has had one. And I'm like, I have to buy it because I have to like learn
Yeah.
more. And I'm just so inspired by the work that women do from
Yeah.
their journeys, from their stories, from the things that have inspired them. And it's really cool to be a part of all this.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Thank
what's
you.
next for you? So, I mean, you've already did a TED Talk, you have this beautiful life coaching business, you wrote a book. What's next for you?
So it is really creating more community.
Hmm.
So creating more community around the ones that are giving and helping everybody else, but don't pay much attention to themselves. So it's more about that. So an online community, but also events and looking to take this where it needs to go, whether it needs to be in corporate. And I would love to have those conversations in corporate as well, because unfortunately, the feelings and emotions, don't bring that in here, can be the messaging that people receive. But it is really about having these events on a consistent basis, a regular basis that are, I want to listen to what people need. One thing that I just had an event recently, about a week or so ago, and they told me they needed to have more fun. And I'm like, ooh, that's exciting. So let me create something around that that's still wellness oriented and therapeutic, but we can have some fun at the same time. So I love that, those types of things. So it's really creating that. It's creating experiences for people that are outside of just the one-on-one coaching.
I love that. It's interesting you said the fun thing because we just a couple of our retreats ago, some of the women that are there are entrepreneurs, and that's what was like the number one thing is everyone's like, we don't have fun anymore.
Yep.
Like we don't have fun like we used to. Because we're always like thinking of the next business idea, or we're like so drowning in all the business stuff and like, do we have enough sales and the finance and like all the things that come with being a business owner that like we don't get to have fun anymore. And so
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes. I'm like, and I know, and I'm not saying this as the person that's like, oh, because I have all the fun and I am so balanced and I have it perfectly to no, 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 no. I'm saying this from the, ooh, I haven't been having fun.
Hmm.
I say this from the, hey, other business owner, are you experiencing this too? Oh, we got to fix this.
Hmm.
Let's fix it together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's exactly it. You have got to have some fun because why else are you here? What
Hmm.
level of freedom are you creating for yourself in your business? There has to be a freedom for you to play,
Yeah.
and we have to be like children more as an adult. We have to focus and be intentionally focused on being childlike
Hmm.
because that, when you were a child, what? You were having a good time.
Yeah.
Likely get some bubbles. Blow some bubbles. Do you know how much joy bubbles can bring people? I love bubbles. I hope anybody listening, do you love bubbles? Start there. Get yourself some bubbles and take 5 minutes to enjoy the bubbles.
Oh my God, that's so true. I actually enjoy coloring. Like I don't think that's like a fun activity, but it's like there's something about it that's like creative and like it's almost like a meditation in a way.
It is a thing. Absolutely. Play the things that we used to do when we were like in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Why don't we do those things anymore?
Yeah.
We're way too serious.
Yeah.
And I understand why.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of heaviness, but I think that means you have to work that much harder in a sense to have fun intentionally. And that working hard can mean, guess what I'm not going to do this week? I'm not going to do half the things that are on my calendar for me to do
Hmm.
because I am burnt out.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna insert fun is an escape room with some friends or something. Do something. Laser tag. Do you know how much I love laser tag?
It's fun.
It is fun. Silliness, running around.
Yeah.
Do it. So that's just me.
You totally reminded me of I have kids and they range
Uh-huh.
14. Well, I actually have a 19-year-old, a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Wow.
And I have a problem with like just sitting down and playing. Like that's a really hard thing for me because I'm always in my head. I'm always thinking about what needs to happen. I'm thinking about I need to do the dishes, I need to prep for dinner. And like it's so hard. And I have children that I could actually like sit down and play with, but it's so hard. But we went to a trip and we play laser tag. And we had so like I just think back to that moment and we had so much fun.
It's the best.
Yeah.
You know what I would do? Maybe in your mindset, think about it as I want to be a really great mom. And part of me being a really great mom is playing with my children,
Hmm.
playing right along with them.
Yeah.
So as much as I want to do like the adult responsible thing and like do the dishes right now, I'm gonna take at least 20 minutes and we are gonna play this game over here
Yeah.
because I want my kids to teach me how to have fun again.
Hmm.
And I want to build that rapport. Mom likes to play
Hmm.
with me.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's just we have to trick our own mind into thinking that we're being irresponsible by not washing the dishes.
Hmm.
We're being very responsible by playing with our child.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so cool. It's a nice little mind hack. Oh, you know. So, yeah.
Thank you. I needed that today. I always feel like every time I have a guest on my podcast, like they always come at such a great time in
Mm,
my life or a day in my life
yeah.
where it's like you're struggling with something and like it's just that little reminder of just what you just said. And so thank you.
Mhm.
I am so inspired by your story. I think you're beautiful. I think your scars are beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that we got connected and you shared your journey, and I cannot wait to see what's next for you. Is there anything that we didn't talk about or you wanted to leave the listeners with today?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. It's definitely a blessing to be able to share and encourage anybody if I have an opportunity. I would just say it's okay to not be perfect.
Hmm.
I've struggled with that. And it's this idea that perfection even exists.
Hmm.
And there's this idea that if it does, you have to be that in order to be loved, in order to love yourself, uh, in order to love someone else.
Hmm.
That's not a thing. I think the thing is being authentic and being loving loving as you possibly can be and doing your best and being honest. So even if when you can't love somebody as well as you might want to, or you make a mistake, you say, yeah, I could have done that better. I apologize.
Hmm.
That's beauty.
Hmm.
Not the, oh, my thighs are nice and toned. Oh, I have the perfect smile. That's that's a form of beauty, sure.
Hmm.
But real beauty, the kind that people are like, oh my God, I just want to be around this person, is that other stuff.
Hmm.
Focus on the other stuff, develop that, give that to yourself, and life can at least be better than it has been.
Beautiful. Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you.